Welcome back to Daggerfall. On the Tamriel calendar, it is the 2nd of Sun's Dawn, and that so happens to be the summoning day of Sheogorath, a Daedric Prince that I'm sure needs no introduction, considering that he has an entire expansion dedicated to him in Elder Scrolls 4. And he's not cooperating. Sheogorath does not want to cooperate for some reason. The thing about Sheogorath is that when you are summoning any other prince, there is a random chance, like 1 in 20, that you will not get the prince you requested, and you will get Sheogorath instead. But I'm trying to summon Sheogorath directly, which is apparently causing some problems. That's better, thank you, Sheogorath. You can see that his outfit is a little different from what it was in Elder Scrolls 4. He is the Daedric Prince of Madness. And he's talking like we were trying to summon someone else. There's no dialogue for if you summon him directly. So that's unfortunate. For all the details that they put into these games sometimes. Power enough to pull the branches across the eyes of the moon and rain blood over Tamriel. For this power wilt thou send someone an invitation to tea for me. That's the quest. Invite somebody to tea. Or is it? Yeah, the unfortunate thing about Sheogorath's quest is that it has not one dungeon crawl, but 2 of them. So yeah. Oh no, he actually wants us to kill this battle mage instead, of course. It wouldn't be a Daedric quest if it weren't about killing something. And then we have to go into a second dungeon to get the artifact this time, which is a staff called the Wabajak. You might have seen it in one of the other Elder Scrolls games. Now I bid you a Yapo and Gazinza. You know, when I imagine all of that being read out in Wes Johnson's voice, I just think, wow, that would have been so epic. Oh, there's actually an exit right here. So, let's see. He wants us to go to... a place called the Soldier Cavern. The Soldier Cavern. Right on the edge. And of course we're on a bit of a time limit because there's another summoning day in this same exact month. Where's the entrance? It's right over there. Good. Sometimes it's a little difficult to find the entrance to the freaking dungeon. Okay, so we will put on an anchor. And our search begins. Ooh, giants! It's kind of a new enemy. What have we here? A mithril war axe. I'm probably not going to equip that, but it's probably worth a good amount of money. And unfortunately, all of these summonings are costing me a pretty penny, I want to remind everyone. So eventually I will probably have to... Oh, look, a door. I don't like the sound of that, though. So yeah, all these summonings are costing me a lot of money, which means at some point... Ah! Harpies! Forgot about harpies. At some point we're going to need to use that infinite money trick again. I'm stuck? Okay, not stuck. Getting stuck on the door would have been just terrible. Yeah, the harpies don't have a lot on them. If you do a bunch of quests for the Fighters Guild, then you can actually encounter harpies potentially earlier than you have a weapon capable of killing them. You need a dwarven weapon or better, but I've got that. Kind of weird to see a bunch of giants underground. Oh. That was actually pretty quick. I found the guy straight away. That's excellent. Ooh, a wereboar. He doesn't see me. Yeah, I'd prefer to get infected with a werewolf instead of a wereboar, so I won't get hit by that one. It's kind of difficult to look intimidating when you're constantly squealing like a pig. So then, I guess that was all there was to that quest. Of course, we do have to do another dungeon, let me remind you. And that dungeon is the Soldier Cavern. The Juban. Uh-oh. We want to arrive by... When do we want to arrive? Give me a moment. Today is the 5th. And the next summoning day is on the 16th. So if we want to make it in time... we will want to travel recklessly and spend some money on an inn. I should have traveled recklessly to the first dungeon anyhow. So, we will set another anchor. And in this dungeon, we're looking for an NPC. Not an enemy that we're supposed to kill. We're supposed to find the NPC we get the artifact from. Wow, this dungeon starts with a locked door. And a bunch of other stuff, too. Okay, we need to rest and get spell points back. Another thing I wanted to mention about Sheogorath... Oh, hey, we're level 12. Another thing I wanted to mention about Sheogorath is that it's not... it's no coincidence that his summoning day is the 2nd of Sun's Dawn, because the 2nd of Sun's Dawn is also a holiday. It is the day where everyone kind of mocks the former emperor, Mad Pelagius III. Pelagius was basically a crazy guy. I mean, he forbade death of all things. Death! Outlawed! Of course, this has to do with Elder Scrolls lore. And if you've played Elder Scrolls V and gotten Sheogorath's quest in that game, you will remember that quest also involves the spirit or whatever of Mad Pelagius III. So that's kind of a nod to his summoning day in this game. Elder Scrolls V, even though you might think it's a bit more casual of an experience than you might like, it's still... Hello, Grizzly Bear. It still pays homage to the lore of Elder Scrolls in a number of unique ways. I mean, there's a quest line involving werewolves that makes reference to... Well, actually, you encounter the Glenmore Witch Coven, which in this game are worshippers of the werewolf Daedra Hirsine. Speaking of Hirsine, probably won't be a while before we get to his quest. It might take a while before we get to Hirsine's quest because it's only useful to werewolves. So we might not do that one straight away. Unless we turn into a werewolf. Which, you know, I would love to have happen, but it's not happening for some reason. I actually looked this up. The chance of getting turned into a vampire or a werewolf is always 0.6% every time you get hit by one of those enemies. So it's going to take lots and lots of hits for them to successfully infect you. And of course you don't immediately know if you've been infected either. I guess we just follow the trail of undefeated enemies. Have I been down here already? Looks like I have. Let's check the map. We're still on that timer for the quest proper, by the way, so if we don't find the worshipper in time, then we actually fail the quest even though we killed the guy anyways. Yeah, this was kind of a really awful prank, Sheogorath, sending me to 2 dungeon crawls instead of just 1. But, what was that? Oh, I didn't even see the ghost there. It was... I guess that's kind of the point. Okay, so after a little bit of wandering around, and totally not using the teleport sheet to figure out where the quest location was, I found out that I should have found him way sooner than I actually did. You can see the dead enemies here, and you can see that I've been here on the map, but look at this. You have to go into this little nook, and then there's the worshipper. Ah, nice of you to let me out of my cell, Madame Jailer. Sheogorath changed his mind and decided that he wanted to take the guy to tea after all, but when he found out he was dead, he decided that was best. That way he wouldn't eat all the posy pies. Before I forget, here's the Wabbajack. Don't point it at me. So yeah, the Wabbajack. That was annoying and stupid, but I suppose that fits Sheogorath rather well. So, madness and chaos are the trademarks of Sheogorath. The Wabbajack embodies these same traits. Using the artifact on a creature will transform it into something else. The creature can become any one of the following monsters. And there's a list of monsters here. The problem is the bearer has no way of controlling the transformation. He could change a giant bat into a lich, or a fire Atronach into a rat. But it's not much use to us anyways because it's a staff. There it is. Equipping the Wabbajack, spelled with a the. I'm pointing it at you, dude. I'm pointing it at you. Since it's a staff, it counts as a blunt weapon, so I might not even be able to hit anything with this. My skill is in long blades, but let's find the enemy and test it out. I mean, it should be fun to try it, right? It has to be on a creature, though, not a human. You know what? Let's teleport out of here. And what day is it? It is the 9th. The 9th is fine. So when you rest outdoors, random enemies can spawn. I assume. You know what? Actually, exiting the dungeon and re-entering it causes all the enemies to respawn anyway, so... Oh, jeez, it turned the... Okay, so it does work on humans, but it turned the guy into an imp. That was rather annoying. I almost got my head handed to me. Alright, that imp is dead. And with a treasure pile, like, right in front of the entrance, you could potentially... Ooh, Mithril Saber. You could potentially just, go in and out of this dungeon and get, like, an infinite amount of gold just, looting the treasure pile over and over again. So, anyways, we need to get back to town. I will look for the nearest town... This'll do. Go cautiously this time. The 16th is the date we want to find a Mage's Guild by. So, is there a Mage's Guild in this town? There is. Aw, come on, be a little nicer to me before I decide to sick the Wabbajack on you. That's better. We're back, and it turns out the 16th of Sun's Dawn is also a holiday. Celebrated all over Tamriel as Heart's Day. Valentine's Day, I guess? That would make sense. It seems that in every house, the legend of the lovers is being sung for the younger generation. In honor of these lovers, Polydor and Eloisa, the inns of the town offer a free room for visitors. If such kindness had been given the lovers, it is said, it would always be springtime in the world. Very, very nice. No, come on! I can't be that unpopular with you, can I? What is going on here? Finally! Thank you, Sanguine! Oh boy. Not only was the Mage's Guild layout confusing, trying to summon this guy, it took so many attempts, I kept reloading and reloading. Whatever. The artifact we're getting is called the Sanguine Rose. Duh. Because it's from Sanguine, and it's probably going to be a rose. Sanguine is the Daedric Prince of hedonism, basically. All of his quests throughout the Elder Scrolls are some of the most enjoyable. Well, except for this one, considering that we're just going to kill a priest, and that's it. So, let's see. This priest is somewhere. And she burned my lovely worshippers to crisps. Ouch, that stings. No wonder you want to kill this guy. The lair of Gan Eden, and rip her heart from her chest. I like this guy. I have the delicious feeling we'll see each other again. I hope so. You know what? I don't think we're going to meet again, because apparently you can only summon the Daedric Princes one time apiece. I'm actually not sure if you can do their quests multiple times. If you can, that would be excellent, because it means I can max out my character by getting the Augma Infinium over and over again like I did back in Arena. So let's see. Let me remind myself where we're going. The lair of Gan Eden. The lair of... There we go. It's not far from here, which is pretty nice. Entrance is right over there. This is pretty good. And it's only one dungeon crawl instead of two, like Sheogorath's. Of course, it is still a dungeon crawl. With confusing passages already. What the? What in the world? Hello? Oh. Oh, nymphs. Oh my goodness. Can we get a frontal shot? Oh, jeez. Yeah. I didn't expect nymphs to be in the Elder Scrolls, but I'm pretty sure that is a language you can get skill points in. So the Adamantium War Axe is nice. How are they carrying anything? They're completely nude. What is this? This is a map. I don't think I've ever gotten any maps in this playthrough before, so I guess I'll just talk a little about them. Maps just reveal a random dungeon in the current region, but there's no real reason to... What did I just pick up? There's no real reason to go and collect maps, because quests already reveal random dungeons, and there's nothing in the dungeons that would... That's a lot of gold. There's not really anything in dungeons that would be interesting to, like, look at. I mean, sometimes the layout might be interesting, but it's still kind of, you know, there's not much to these places. Sorcerer, you have some items which are worth a good amount of gold, so I'll still collect those. I still check the inventories because there's a chance of a magic item showing up, and that's still fun to discover, all those magic items. And it makes you want to get out of the dungeon alive, because you want to identify the item, obviously, right? It's fun to see what you get. Of course, you don't need to identify the potions for some reason. Ooh, what have we here? Adamantium Left Pauldron, that's excellent! And this confirms that the helmet is in fact adamantium, because it has the same armor bonus. I think I mistakenly said that the helmet was ebony. Oh, jeez, more of them. That sinister laughing is that, how am I going up? This is an underground cavern. Gargoyles! With absolutely nothing. Except the sound effect for getting shot by an arrow. That's strange. Alright, now there's a bunch of twists and turns. It had to be a nymph dungeon, didn't it? Now I'm gonna feel bad about all the naked women I'm killing. And you know, I think the point of this quest is supposed to be that the priest Sanguine wants us to kill has been spreading lessons of chastity, which goes completely against Sanguine's interests. Hedonism, I mentioned. Lots of money. So it is, you know, it's oddly... I don't know how appropriate it is for the priest to be hiding away in a dungeon full of naked women. I guess he doesn't practice what he preaches. That sounds like an interesting quest idea. Sometimes the randomization of this game does result in interesting little twists, but not often enough for me to enjoy the randomization in this particular game. Like, I'm fine with it. What is with all this money? People are just, like, leaving all of their money around. It's crazy. But like I said, I do think that this sort of procedurally generated quests and dungeons, they do have their merits. If it results in something funny happening every single time. And more often than not, you just get a long, boring dungeon crawl. Like what we're doing right here. That doesn't make Daggerfall a bad game, of course. Otherwise, I wouldn't be showing all of the Daedric quests. Like I intend to. Oh, that was the priest? Well, that's just perfect, isn't it? Let's see here. I'm gonna ditch the pauldron that I had before. So, that's that. That was a surprisingly simple crawl. This is one of those teleporting skulls, isn't it? That it is. Glad I didn't touch it. I'm just killing a couple more enemies. See if I get... Oh! 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 Daedric armor! That's excellent. Now we have the best boots in the game. Of course I'm going to collect a full set of Daedric equipment. I'm glad I decided to run around the dungeon just a little bit more. I don't think you can actually get Daedric... Okay, I can click that, apparently. I don't think Daedric armor is supposed to appear in towns, like in shops and stuff at all. And I have no idea what I'm doing. Guess I'm just gonna go until I hit a dead end or something. Dead end. Let's get out. Let's see. Where is the worshipper? Newcastle, I think it was? Myrrh Castle. Weird name. Actually, that's a really weird town name. I think that name actually kind of retroactively implies that we're going to be seeing elves, because Myrrh is Elvish for elf. Because you have, like, the Dunmer, the Altmer, the Bosmer, the Orsimer. Alright, this should be the house. There's the door. And... where is she? Or he? If it turns out to be a naked woman, then I'm just gonna, like, probably up the stairs. Good, she's clothed. Sanguine must be quite enraptured with you. He had the Sanguine Rose set aside for his favorite disciples, and now it's yours. I hope you enjoyed immensely. It is in fact a rose, and I seriously hope Sanguine isn't falling in love with my character. That would be ugly. The Sanguine Rose is not an artifact most folk would care to have. It summons a lesser Daedra to the user. The Daedra will attack any other creature in the area except the bearer of the rose. The rose is like any other in that it will wilt. The more of its power that is used, the more wilted it becomes. Eventually, all its petals fall off and it loses its powers, and the beast becomes trapped in his new form forever. I mean, somewhere in Oblivion, a new rose blooms and is plucked by Sanguine himself to be given to a new champion. Sounds like an interesting item. So I think before I will stop playing for today, I will test out the rose on our local town guards. That should be fun, right? I'm gonna save first, though. Yeah, I've just been, I've been lazy with labeling the saves. So, let's call on the guards by murdering someone. All NPCs die in one hit, and here they come. You have halted for the last time! Magic item. Where is it? Do you equip the rose? Do you equip the rose, I wonder? You do not equip it. Do you have to use it? Wow, you do have to use the rose. And it's working. There goes our Daedra. Where's it going? It's attacking the guard way in the back. Also, this is one of the rare instances of the player having an ally in combat. You almost never have an ally in combat unless you use one of 2 artifacts, and the Sanguine Rose is one of them. It's also one of the rare instances of seeing enemies fight each other, so you can see the sprites of enemies swinging their weapons at different angles. You normally never see that. And what is this guy doing? Is our Daedra losing? Oh, I guess he got confused for a moment. So, what's he gonna do now? He's just gonna spin around? I think he's trying to find the next enemy, who is right behind here. So, if all the enemies are gone, I guess, what happened to him? He's gone? I guess if all the enemies are gone, he just keels over and dies, or goes back to oblivion or something. Anyhow, that's it for today's update of the Elder Scrolls II Daggerfall. Next time, we're gonna get some far more practical, magical artifacts from the Daedra Lords.